This is going to be a pretty niche episode, and there are loads of spoilers for the TV series Neon Genesis Evangelion and the movie End of Evangelion. So if you haven't watched those, go and watch them, then come on back. Welcome to the Tavern. Pull up a chair and let's chat. Today I am drinking water because I still have some work to do and it doesn't look great if I have alcohol on my breath. Before we talk about my favorite theories from this series, I have a few quick messages. First, this will be the last episode without a preview. Starting now, we will be doing a delayed release where the next episode of Max's Tavern will first be released on our Patreon, then it will become available to everyone else. Second, as of the release of this episode, we are at 12 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and when we reach 20 subscribers, we will be doing a 20-hour live stream where I will play games voted on by the community. If that sounds interesting, head over to www.patreon.com/DZ_productions, where you can gain access to our polls. More and more should be happening as we grow the platform, but for now, let's talk about Evangelion. For those of you who may need a quick refresher, Neon Genesis Evangelion is a sci-fi anime series that starts out as kind of a monster of the week, but slowly turns into this amazing look into relationships, traumas, joys, and how all of those things form our human experience. Main cast of characters across the series is Shinji Ikari, his father Gendo Ikari, Misato Katsuragi, Asuka Soryu, Ritsuko Akagi, and Rei Ayanami. While these characters go through the motions of experiencing humanity, they are locked in a battle against supernatural monsters called angels, who apparently seek to cause an apocalyptic event known as the Third Impact. The original series lasted for 26 episodes with a movie concluding that story, and then a series of 4 new movies. Now, my first theory is a question that has plagued Evangelion fans since 1997. What were Gendo's last words to Ritsuko? Ritsuko was the main scientist at NERV directly under Gendo and was a woman incredibly dedicated to her work. As we see from flashbacks, she discovered her mother, who had previously occupied her own position, was in a secret affair with Gendo. Following her mother murdering a clone of Rei Ayanami, Ritsuko's mother committed suicide, and Ritsuko stepped into her mother's position, including becoming Gendo's lover. Through the course of the series, Ritsuko steadily becomes disillusioned with herself, with Gendo, NERV, and their mission. In the End of Evangelion, shortly after restoring the security system for NERV and secretly setting up a self-destruct switch, Ritsuko confronts Gendo, holding him at gunpoint. Her self-destruct fails, and Gendo seizes her distraction by drawing his own weapon and kills her. Before Gendo pulls the trigger, though, he says something that is intentionally muted. All we know is that Ritsuko calls him a liar before she is shot. We, the audience, never hear it. So what did Gendo say? Well, in the manga, we actually do get to hear what he says. Miss Ritsuko Akagi, you have done well. I loved you. However, Ritsuko does not call him a liar in this continuity. She just looks at him surprised before Gendo shoots her. So I don't think that is quite one-to-one in the anime continuity. We do know that in the original Japanese script, Gendo begins his sentence with truly before he is muted. In the film, his sentence is definitely longer than I loved you as well, so I don't think that was entirely it either. I believe that it is something that was actually a dig at Ritsuko, prompting her liar statement. I think what Gendo says is truly, I loved you both. Now, a little more on Ritsuko's self-destruct idea. It was born from NERV's security system, the Magi system. This is a system developed by Ritsuko's mother, who said that the 3 computers were developed from the 3 facets of her being: herself as a woman, herself as a scientist, and herself as a mother. When Ritsuko set off the self-destruct switch, it required the computer to have a unanimous decision from all 3 facets. As a mother and a scientist, the Magi agreed with Ritsuko that the best course is destruction. However, in her own words, Ritsuko's own mother chose her man over her daughter. Ritsuko announces this in shock in front of Gendo. I think that Gendo's last words are a final toss in the face to Ritsuko and her mother. Truly, I loved you both is a lie, as we know that Gendo's true love is always Yui, his wife who joined her soul to one of the Evangelions. It is such a bold-faced lie and a mockery to Ritsuko and the legacy of her mother, who effectively sacrificed her own daughter for her man. I think it was Gendo rubbing salt in the wound, knowing his victory was guaranteed at this point. So, on the final steps before his victory, he throws it back in the face of the person who tried to stop him. Truly, I loved you both. My next theory is not one of my own, but one I saw and really, really enjoyed. This is also where I will give a content warning. If you are uncomfortable with mentions of sexual acts involving minors, do not continue. I, of course, do not endorse any sexual acts involving minors. Now, something that is really prevalent throughout the series is sex as a way of bonding with another person. Misato famously has sex in an episode, albeit the actions are off screen. There's Gendo and the Akagis, as well as Misato and Ryoji Kaji. All seek sex as a means of finding physical attachment in this world, and even as a reward for survival, like Misato telling Shinji that when he comes back from facing the third impact, she will sleep with him. On the subject of Shinji, he is 14 and incredibly impressionable. His psyche is remarkably damaged by the end of the series, though he's definitely not the only one. Now, after receiving that promise of sex, Shinji goes out to try and prevent the third impact, only to become the deciding factor for the end result of third impact. While trying to decide what he wants, we, the audience, see many flashbacks from throughout the series and memories of all the characters as they try to convince Shinji one way or the other. We know that the events we're seeing are actual things that have occurred based on being shown scenes that played out in the series, like Misato's sex scene. Interspersed with these scenes is an occasion of Shinji and Asuka, both nude, with Asuka on top of Shinji. This is the "do you love me" theory, where Asuka and Shinji have sex. Honestly, that's the end. That's the whole theory. Asuka and Shinji have sex, but I think it is such a fascinating theory for many different reasons, so we're going to talk about it for a little bit longer. Now, why would Shinji and Asuka have sex? Well, it's no secret that the kids know about at least Misato and Kaji having sex, at least in the past. Asuka especially is aware of Kaji's feelings towards Misato and is aware of what adults get up to when they're alone. Asuka even makes several passes at Kaji, going as far as to almost expose her own breasts to him. Asuka is also very stubborn and insists multiple times that she is better off on her own. She wants people to believe that she doesn't need anyone. However, we know this isn't true. During the mind rape scene, and God, is that an awkward phrase, but it is the most accurate way of describing the scene, we see troubling circumstances of Asuka's past. We see that deep down, Asuka really does long for companionship and to make attachments to others. How does she constantly see people make attachments? Sex is abundant in our world, whether it be television, books, advertising, or video games. The world of Evangelion shares a lot of similarities with our own world, so impressionable teens would likely see a lot of that and think that is one way to form attachments. Then, Asuka specifically sees two of the most important adults in her life making attachments through sex. So I think Asuka's reasoning for having sex with Shinji is because he is the most available person to her, and likely the most reliable person to form an attachment to. Now, why would Shinji have sex with Asuka, other than being a teenage boy and having a girl show interest in him? Shinji is much more forward with wanting to have an attachment to someone. We know that he is very distressed about the lack of a relationship he has with his father and the lack of memories he has of his mother. He really reaches out to anyone and everyone who could possibly fill that gap and see him as someone who is both worthy of love and also loves him. So Shinji wants to make attachments to fill a void. His best example for someone filling a similar void is Misato, who does this through her relationship with Kaji. One of the fatal flaws in using this relationship as a marker is that the only thing the kids know about is their physical intimacy. The emotional intimacy between Kaji and Misato is far more private than their sex lives. So I think Shinji makes the leap in logic that in order to be seen as someone worthy of love is that he needs someone who will have sex with someone. This theory is really amazing to me because it paints a really fascinating picture about how our world really shapes our perceptions, how our interactions with others shape our perceptions. So to close out this episode, it's a bit of a short one. I've got a challenge for you. What is something that has shaped your perception? Whether it was a correct perception, I don't know if that's really the right way to say it. Whether or not it's correctly or incorrectly shaped your perception. If you're watching on YouTube, leave it as a comment or hop onto our Patreon and share your thoughts. I'll have a pinned topic asking the question again, and I would love to hear you guys. Once again, the URL is www.patreon.com/DZ_productions. Unfortunately, Max is signaling that it is time to pack up and go. The tavern is closing for the night. I will see you all again. Till then, good night and drive safe. Oh wow, you guys made it to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Had to take my glasses off because it's too bright there. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, a comment, maybe subscribe, share it with your friends. If you want to make sure you see any other videos as they pop up, make sure to hit that little bell icon, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye!